Today on Dishin It, we welcome Nikki Sharp, a health and wellness expert, vegan chef, and two-time best-selling author. She's appeared on H&F, Extra, Access Hollywood, and more. Today, we'll be making the taco bowl, a recipe from her book, The 5-Day Detox. Coolest part, there's also a mobile app by the same name, which became #1 in 6 countries in 24 hours. She's also an international model and influencer with a heart of gold, who's making a difference in the world. Welcome to Dishin It. I'm Vivian Guzman. Life hasn't always been easy. I have felt alone, displaced, like an outsider. The world needs a place of belonging, which is why I created Dishin It.
Cheers! Cheers!
On Dishin It, I cook foods from around the world. My guests share their stories, and we inspire the world.
The reason I save marriages past, present and future is because I want it to be that lovely, cute 80-year-old couple that you see still holding hands is the norm. Welcome to Dishin It.
Hi, Nikki. Welcome to Dishin It.
Hello, Vivian. I'm so excited to be here with you. Virtual, of course.
I wish you were here in person, but you're in beautiful Miami in your new pad. Show me your pad, baby.
I am in my new apartment. It is beautiful and small but cute with insane views.
I love it.
You know, during this weird time that we're in, I've made this really home, as I think we all have to do.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're feeling calm.
And I do miss traveling, but obviously, you know, until everything clears up and we have no control over that, you just make the best of what you can with what you have, and here we are.
So I'm excited. I'm gonna show you what I have, baby. Look what I have, Mamacita.
Oh my God, and you have it on the bookshelf thing. That's amazing. I love it.
Now, I have been on a pre-tox, meaning I'm trying to diminish like my sugars, my coffee, I took away my dairy and all of that. And one of the things that I really enjoyed the most is that you have an app. And I bought the app and downloaded it, and it is such a game changer for me. Because
Thank you.
you simplified it. You took the whole guesswork out of it.
And I love that you mentioned the pre-talks. If I may, can I give a quick little thing about that?
Please, you're the expert. I learned this from your book. The book is genius on so many levels, but tell me.
This is the book for everyone. And the way that I wrote this program many, many years ago in 2013 when detoxing was not a thing on the market. So I wrote my own. It sold a lot. And then when I turned it into the book, what I did was I asked my audience and everyone who had bought it, what are the questions that you still have? What do you want answered? And then I compiled hundreds of questions and broke it down into different chapters and sections. And so the pre-talks, as you mentioned, it teaches you in the book what to cut out, why you're cutting it out, how to have the best results on the detox. The detox itself is the actual 5-day program. And then the after talks is how to maximize your results so that you don't gain weight back, so you don't go back to old bad habits. And because after the 5 days, you feel incredible. So that's the way I broke it down.
I love the fact that everything that you carefully chose is not going to overfill your refrigerator because all of the ingredients you use all throughout the 5 days.
Yep. Here's what's really cool as well. I went shopping today for all the ingredients as I'm starting it. It was $100 for 5 days, and that's 5 meals a day. So that breaks down to $4 a meal. And then on top of that, you actually, and I wrote the program this way so that you have extras left over on the 6th day so that you don't suddenly open your fridge and there's nothing there and you're like, well, I'm just gonna go get a burger.
I love it. Let's make your taco bowl.
Yes, let's do it.
What are we doing, Nikki? What are we doing first for the taco bowl?
We are first going to chop our vegetables. Like any recipe, you have to prep a little bit first. And so I have everything laid out. I cheat. I say this and I talk about it in the book where I buy canned black beans. I don't cook them from scratch because I want to minimize my meal prep. So you buy organic, if you can, no salt black beans, and you just give them a nice little rinse. Super, super easy, super easy. So the recipe calls for you to add water into your pan. You can also use a tablespoon of olive oil. It's going to add more flavor. If you're on the detox, follow the recipes. But if you're just making this at night for your family, you could use olive oil. So you'll heat your pan up and put your olive oil in, and then your diced onion and garlic.
I'm going to go ahead and do that as we speak.
And then at the same time, you would already have your carrot and zucchini prepped so that you can just throw it in. See, there we go. So you can just throw it in once the onion and the garlic is cooked.
Wow, it's sort of, but it's cooking now. How's that?
When it comes to cooking, there is no right or wrong way. It's all about having fun and just enjoying the process instead of following the recipe to the T.
I love it because it gives you freedom to play and change it.
The beauty of the meal that we're making is you don't use salt in it, but it tastes so ridiculously good even without salt. And that's because we're using all these herbs and spices and things like lemon, and can use the zest for a little punchier kick.
One of the things that attracted me to your book and everything that you're doing is that you use a lot of colors, and I am a color eater. So the more the colors, the more excited I get. I mean, look at me. I'm like a walking fruit basket right now.
Basis behind the colors, and I tell everyone this, count colors, not calories. Because when you count calories and things like macros, it becomes really time consuming. And it's all you think about. And, oh, well, that extra calorie added up and I can't do that because it's too many macros. Whereas we want to live a balanced and fulfilled, happy life and enjoy food. Love the food that we're making. Love the food that we're eating and know that it loves us back. We are naturally more drawn to saturated colors. 3 colors at every meal will make you naturally lose weight. You'll have more energy, you'll sleep better, your brain fog will go away. And it's literally the simplest diet you can do.
I love that.
How is your dish coming?
Well, I have most of the beautiful veggies almost completely sauteed.
Yep, now is where you can add some cayenne pepper.
And the beans, right?
Yep, a little bit of turmeric. If you want, you can flavor it with a squeeze of lime. That's what I was gonna do, or at the end you do that. I'll show you, I have mine all ready to go here.
Oh my goodness.
Get the portobello mushroom out of the oven, and that's the taco. Oh, it smells so delicious. I don't know if you can see this bad boy right here. So I have my taco bowl. I like to put a few little leaves of spinach just for that bright pop of raw foods color, that salady, beautiful, vibrant green.
I believe the more beautiful your plate looks, the more you're going to enjoy it. And if it isn't pretty, then why bother?
100%, 100%, could not agree more with that.
Yes, it's like my Picasso is about to take place.
Exactly.
This is what I'm up to right now.
Beautiful.
So I actually decided to put some romaine to give it a little more burst of look, and then I have a little spinach, but I filled up enough, so I think I now have to put it on top of that. Am I right?
Yep,
That's what I'm up
and
to,
so
right?
you're just gonna use a spoon and you're gonna add it up and just do it kind of little spoon by spoon so that you can kind of build it up as it goes. And so then once you get there, you're to the end, you're just gonna put your dollop of guacamole on the top. And so I'm almost done. I'm gonna just add some cayenne pepper on the top here of mine.
Okay.
Little extra kick. I'm gonna do some black pepper. Yep. And then I'm going to just do a last little squeeze of lime on the top here, just for a little extra. Just, and not the whole lime.
I like
Just a few.
Okay. I think I'm ready, baby.
Let's do it. Wow, that looks beautiful.
I'm not sure you can see the actual portobello, but
Well, and that's why, like with this one, you would do just a really, really small thin layer, but you can see it just peeks out there at the bottom, and it's such a simple meal to create. It's so simple. You just put the mushroom in the oven, saute some things, takes one pan, make some guacamole in a small bowl, you're done.
I just love it. I can't wait to try it. This is going to be to die for. I think we should sit somewhere else and enjoy the meal and then talk more about everything that's going on with you.
I love it. Actually, that sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right, baby. I am so ready to dive in.
Make sure you get a bite with everything in it.
Cheers.
Cheers. It is so good. I want to know what you think of it, though.
I am not missing the salt whatsoever. And I love me salt. But I love the varying textures because I don't like when things are just mushy. So there's a lot of crunch between the romaine, between the carrots, and then there's creaminess that comes from not only from the avocado but also from the black bean. So and then the portobello is like a steak. So it's just so.
The more you mix things together, the more satisfying, nourishing it is, and you nailed it. You get all the things in this meal.
So tell me a little bit about your path to health.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy one, to be really, really fair and honest. So I didn't get into health because I chose it, because I was like, oh, health is this great new thing. I went into it because I was literally kind of killing myself. I had 2 eating disorders. I had anorexia and binge eating disorder. I had body dysmorphia. I would look in the mirror and see a completely different version of myself. I had such terrible skin. I was on Accutane 3 times before I was 21. And my dermatologist said, you're an unlucky one. You might just have to be on it for the rest of your life. When I was 7 years old, I was hospitalized because of such bad stomach pains. And at 13, put on the strongest antacids, prescription only. I had depression. I had suicidal thoughts later in life. I mean, you name it, I went through it. And so who I am and who's sitting before you now has battled a lot. I was hospitalized twice for insomnia. Went to a sleep clinic in New York. They put electrodes all over my head and they said, you're fine. You have nothing wrong. You just need to stress less. And you're like,
what?
Okay, so I'm not sure how to do that. And I was modeling at the time. I was living in different countries away from my parents. I didn't speak to them that often. You make friends, you leave them after a few months. Social media wasn't as prevalent there. So it wasn't like, we kept in touch. And I just remember looking at a photo of myself and thinking, God, you really need to lose weight for the modeling industry. And I'd been in it for a few years. And so I lost a ton of weight really, really quickly. And I felt so good within the control that I had. And so suddenly I became a shell of myself. I became a shell of like the physical appearance. I became a shell of my personality because I was always starving myself, over exercise. I wasn't me. So then I went to South Korea to model, and they told me that they wanted me to actually gain some weight, but they said, we want you to gain weight in specific places like right here.
How can you?
You can't. So instead of eating healthy food, like I had been doing, I started eating all the things I'd restricted, like ramen noodles and candy bars, and I started binging a lot. Now my skin started getting even worse. Now my mood swings got even worse because I'm putting all this crap into my body. Finally, New York was the last place where it was bad. My eating disorders got really, really, really bad. And I would binge so badly at night. And I hated myself, hated my life. And I would go out and get all the food I needed to binge because I was like, well, screw it. I know I'm going to do it. I'm just going to get everything. My swings got worse and worse. My skin was it was awful. I felt terrible. And that's where I left New York. And I remember going back to Colorado, and I did a 30-day just challenge for myself. I said, I'm going to cook all my meals. I didn't know how to cook at this point. I was like, I'm going to cook all my meals. I'm going to exercise every day because I love myself. I'm going to exercise outside as much as I can, and not like crazy intense, but just like walking or hiking. And what I found at the end of 30 days was my body dysmorphia started changing.
Do you think it was the food that made you feel differently emotionally so that you could then care to be kinder to yourself?
It was a mix of everything. I was having stable meals. I was with suddenly my mom and my dad, who I love. And so I wasn't having like breakfast and overeating and restricting all day until dinner. My mom would sit down and be like, okay, it's lunchtime. So you just start to retrain yourself like, oh, you're allowed to eat normal meals at normal times. But what I found was that after the 30 days, it just something clicked, and it was like, oh my God, eat good food, feel good. Eat bad food, feel bad. And it was just like, how simple is that? It was like one of those aha moments where you're like, oh
my goodness.
So I decided to move back to London at that point. I was still modeling. I got a job as an assistant at a law firm, and I had started an Instagram, and it was named Skinny Mini Me _XOXO because I just wanted to be skinny. And people started following me. But little did anyone know at that time, my eating disorders were actually getting worse. Because although I was learning about health, I felt so out of control of my life because I wasn't making the money that I thought I would. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I then got laid off of this job. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. And I'm lonely and scared and I'm not making money. And I went to the doctor and I said, I'm really scared I'm going to kill myself. So he put me on antidepressant medication. I took it for 2 days, maybe a day. And I said, this is not me. What is wrong? I need to figure this out. That's actually when I started taking the nutrition courses. And so I started just going as deep as I could, studying every weekend courses and 3-month program and a year program. The more I started learning and I started sharing with my audience grew. There was this authentic community that started being built. And then I wrote the detox program. So I wrote it within a matter of like a day. I didn't even write it for anyone else. I didn't think anyone would want to do it. So I wrote something, put a screenshot on my Instagram and said, hey, I just wrote this detox program. Do you guys want me to put it as a PDF and you can get it? And they were like, yes, please, yes. I think I had 5,000 followers at that time. And it started going viral because there was nothing on the market. It's simple, it's easy. It was £5, $8.
Wow.
That was a lot, I know.
No, that's a beautiful journey that you've been on. I personally had my own aha with food because I went through a health crisis myself. Over 5 years ago, I had a rehaul where I woke up after having a beautiful Mediterranean date night. My face was blowing up and I looked like somebody beat me up, like punched me in a ring. And that was the beginning of this roller coaster ride. My stomach would blow up and stay like 9 months pregnant for 24 hours. My joints would hurt. I would get rashes everywhere. I would vomit. And I went through every doctor, every dermatologist. I wouldn't leave my house now. And like you, I'm a happy, bubbly person, always. Like, how is this me? How can I find myself in this paradigm? And that was when I went to a shrink, and this shrink, which I thought was insane, she said to me within 5 minutes, somebody killed somebody because they're a celiac and they're blah, 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 but once they got off that gluten and all that stuff, and I was like, what is really happening? That I just hit like the funhouse mirror moment of my life? And then I thought, what if she's right? So I went on a 3-month cleanse of getting gluten taken out of my diet, had an endoscopy. What was diagnosed at the end of this odyssey after 2 years, it's a leaky gut. It's supposed to be a permeability in your intestinal linings due to a lot of toxicity that can be through certain types of foods that you're assaulting your body with. And that was my aha moment because that was the first time I was able to correlate that food directly affects your mood.
Yes.
And it got me into...
I just got goosebumps everywhere. Wow. And thank you for sharing that story. That's, crazy. I'm going to ask you something. What's the worst thing you can put in your mouth for your health?
Baby, that's a great question. I would say that anything from any of the big fast food restaurants, because that directly makes me sick.
So it's a trick question and you're not wrong, but the answer that I'm going to give you is something to think about. The worst thing that you can put in your mouth is the words and thoughts you say to yourself. Mm-hmm. Because the stress that we take within our body, the cortisol levels, are a direct relation to the things that we think and the things that we say. Oh, I look fat today. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're stupid. You shouldn't have done that.
Ooh, I just got so many chills, baby. And I'll tell you why, because my husband's always telling me to stop beating myself up because it just takes very little and it doesn't matter what I've done, I discount it. And all of a sudden I'm just beating myself down and then it takes me forever to kind of get to this level where we're like, oh no, but we're really great. And it's like, wait a minute, you just spent the whole last 2 hours on this whole roller coaster to try to get to, oh, we're great. Why don't we just start here? And let's let this noise never happen.
Let's say it's, okay, so what do I do? How do I stop that self-talk?
Yes, how do we stop this bad talk?
There's 2 words. It's gonna be a game changer. You say, how interesting. The next time you wanna beat yourself up for not doing a video perfectly, or not doing an intro great, or you had 2 glasses of wine and you should have had 0. You just say to yourself, how interesting. Because what that does, those 2 words, stop the monkey mind. And you find the more that you practice that how interesting, it just shuts off that communication within the mind of like, you shouldn't have, and you're like, Just how interesting. And there's no follow-up needed.
Ah, I love it.
I love it, darling.
Today I gleaned so many wonderful insights from you. It feels good to be reminded of all the things that one can do for our bodies, and and to hear it from you as a person who's an expert, who's been through it all, who's survived the worst, and who's there now as a beacon to help other people. You really are an amazing role model, to me. I'm inspired by you, baby.
I'm inspired by you, honey. I really am.
I love that you have allowed your vulnerability to serve to help other people so that they feel included. And one of the things that I love about my show is that I want people that are looking in to see the person who's here at our table dishing their true heart, their true story, their journey, so that they too can dare to take a chance in the pursuit of their dreams and celebrate love and diversity and know how to. So that's why I'm so thankful that you were here with me today on Dishin It. Thank you.
Thank you. This was amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.